Um, I am going to try to do a live without using StreamYard. So I am just streaming straight from YouTube and didn't announce this, just wanted to see if it would work. Um, I hope you can hear me. I'm also trying and using these earbuds because I'm outside. So, um, if you're coming into the chat, welcome. Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. It's a beautiful day out here in southern Arkansas. Hey, Frank, how are you? Are you being nice today? You're not picking on Sleuth Mom, are you? Hey, Carrie Bishop, how are you? Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. All right. Well, you're behaving. Well, that's good. Hey, Krama Mama, how are you? I am trying to get these quirks worked out. To do some live streams so I can interact with my followers. I interact with everyone that I follow, so you know. I have I want to start this out. I want to say something to Cassie Carley's family. What happened to her is extremely sad. And it should have never happened. And, we find ourselves in these situations with people that we've had children with, and, they're not good. And one thing that we were allowed to do in my hometown was if you had any kind of conflicting problems with your child's other parent, whether you had it drawn up in divorce papers or whether you had it, if you went like through child support enforcement or whatever, um, if you had any kind of conflicting problems that you and your child's parent didn't get along, um, you were in a domestic violence relationship with them and you were scared of them or whatever, we had the luxury of setting things up to where we could exchange our kids at the local police station or the sheriff's department. And, whether you went through a private attorney or whether you had, like, went through child support enforcement, you could have that put in your papers and have that set up to exchange your kids at the police department so that there would be no problems, there would be no kinds of conflict or anything. And if there was any problems, the police handled it. Now, I don't know if that is true, and I don't know if y'all can hear all these trucks and their boats driving by, but I do live on the lake. So, um, if there was, any problems, then you had it set up to exchange your kids at the police department. And if no one wanted to, if like say your ex or whatever didn't want to do that, then tough shit. He ain't gonna see his kids. Um, I wish that she had done that. I don't know if anyone else has ever heard of that in their hometown of being able to exchange their kids at the police department. But why am I not seeing the comments? I don't know. They're just showing up every once in a while. That's weird. Huh. Um, well, there they are. Okay. Uh, I done lost my train of thought. Okay, we're exchanging kids at the police department. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that, or some of you have maybe even done that with your kids. Um, but I wish that she had had it set up like that. I mean, I understand from her family that they normally met in Destin, and that this whole specific drop off was different from the very beginning. It was everything was changed last minute, and he made it seem like, you know, I'm working here, let's just meet here. It's no big deal. But if you have something set up to where you exchange your children at a police department or a sheriff's department, then if you like in this instance, if he would have said, well, I need to meet you in Navarro instead of Destin. Okay, well, then we're going to meet at the Navarro Police Department or Sheriff's Department, the closest police or sheriff's department. um, I don't see why any police department or sheriff's department in any town, in any state, any country, or anywhere would have any kind of issues with that. But I wish that she had had it set up like that, and that she had done things like that, because she was afraid of him. And she did say things to her family like, if something happens to me, he did it, and whatnot. So, you know, please, I want to encourage other creators from your channels to mention this as well. And please encourage um, people that if you have any kind of conflict with your child's other parent or whatever, and you need to, and you would just feel better and safer having things set up at the police department, contact your local police department, your local sheriff's department, your lawyer, your child support enforcement case manager or whatever, and get that done. And please do that, because you know there's always a lesson that we can learn from these tragedies. And that is, you know, the best thing that I know that I can tell people is to check into doing your exchanges at your local police department. So, you know, my love and thoughts and prayers go out to little Sailor. I hope she gets back with Cassie's family soon, and that we see justice for that woman, because it was just no way. Do we have some Canadians in here? I see a Canadian flag. I only know 2 people that live in Canada. Corey Haim's mother and Justin Bieber. You know them? Anyway, so we, my fellow YouTube creators and whatnot, we got another shout out from Hawkins County Police Department about how we're screwing up their case. That's always nice. Funny they ain't got no. Well, I guess they wouldn't have no. I guess they wouldn't have no leads at all if it wasn't for crazy YouTubers calling in. I mean, then what would they do? They wouldn't even have nothing to go on. We don't have a domestic issue. We just can't stand each other. Yeah, that was a situation with my youngest daughter's father. Um, she still don't understand how she even came to be because he was a rebound relationship, or he wasn't even a relationship. I'd just gotten out of a year-long relationship with a guy, and he was a rebound. He had been bugging me. He was a friend of one of my friends, and he'd been bugging me, and you're drunk and you're on drugs and you're just doing stupid shit. So, but yeah, we didn't get along either. And and then of course my ex-husband, my oldest daughter's father, it was really bad. He ended up moving to Alabama though, but I don't talk about it because I don't want to speak ill of the dead. He passed away a couple of years ago from a brain tumor, and he's Ashley's father, and he was just an asshole. I know it. He knew it, and she knows it too. So, but I'd be better if my granddaughter hadn't just dumped her top ramen. Oh gosh. I don't know why the comments keep disappearing. Hey Pendar, how are you? But I don't I don't know what I from what I understood from what Scott H said this morning, regarding the lawyers and stuff for the Wells, is that the 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 lawyers that they were assigned because of the CPS case and them removing the boys or whatever, I guess are also representing them in the disappearance of Summer, and if they want to question Don or Candace or whatever, that they are their attorneys that are representing them. I guess it makes sense, but I would have thought that they would have had to have hired a separate attorney, but with a with an open CPS case as well, I guess it just saves the state's money, you know. It it don't matter. I mean, I wish Candace would come up off that dumb hillbilly act because she's making the rest of us rednecks and hillbillies look bad. She plays that dumb hillbilly. I don't know. Well, gosh, I didn't know they were doing that. Well, I can't imagine. I, you know, and then and she just don't know. She don't know. She don't remember nothing. And then she, like I said, she wants to come. She wants to play that like a dumb blonde act, but it's not a dumb blonde act. She plays the dumb hillbilly act. I don't know where my daughter is. Somebody come up here and snatched her. I have never bought that story. Never. When I first looked into it and I got on Google Maps or Google Earth and looked at the area and then the terrain and everything, I was like, there is no way somebody went up there in that property and took that child. There's just no way. Especially walked up in the basement. And then Don, he says all the disturbing things that, he has said, and here come the airplanes. I live under a flight path too. I've always lived under a flight path. Even when I owned my own home, I lived under a flight path. This one's loud. we had one of the big army planes coming out of El Dorado one day, and it was flying really low, and it scared the living shit out of me. Where is it? Airplane! Airplane! Okay. But they know where she is. They just do. And there's been a lot of talk about Don and his past, and the charges that have come forward from Mary and Jeannie and those ladies, his stepsisters and whatnot. And there's people that say, well, why didn't you say something sooner? Well, why didn't you report this a long time ago? And isn't there, Frank, I have been hearing and seeing people comment about this alleged grand jury, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a rumor. Y'all know how these YouTube streets are. I don't know if that's a rumor or what. So, but God, I hope so. But the thing with Mary and Jeannie and those ladies that have brought this stuff up. If Little Summer is still alive, I honestly think Candace is fooling herself if she ever thinks she's going to get those boys back. Everything with Don, I mean, she would have to divorce him. She would have to get a job. She would have to get her own place and show that she could provide for them and provide a safe home for them. They're, of course, with the way things are going with CPS, you never can tell. But yeah, they say the police don't buy their story either. Big Gang comments, she was with her boys. I don't know. She's I think she's just talking about, she has to talk about getting the boys back every once in a while and hopefully getting Summer back and whatever, just to keep up the appearance. Because all she seems concerned about is BK and Skern Dog and, trying to get some new tail. God, I listened to Benny last couple of nights, just dog her out. Just dog her. And, I don't know what the final straw was that made him flip. But, yeah, he's flipped the whole script on her. But I saw it coming a mile away. I did. I saw it coming a mile away. I don't even listen to him very much. I don't pay much attention to him. And I've stayed under his radar. Thank God. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't see this coming. I think we all saw it coming a mile away. So I could see when she would just say his name that she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over him. But he seems to feel like he was the last to know. I don't know. That's between them though. But this situation with Mary and Jeannie, um, don't say nasty things to them. Don't don't anybody say things to them like, oh, you're taking away from Summer, or you're derailing the case, or what. They're saving Summer. I mean, I would have done the same thing if, my stepbrother had done things to me and then his daughter came up missing. I'd be calling the police too, even if I hadn't have reported it back then, whether I did or didn't. I mean, even if they did report it to the parents knew. But even if they had gone to the police, Mary or Jeannie, whichever one it was 5 years old, like, you're going to get on your tricycle and ride down to the police department? No. But even if they had done something, I mean, they were juveniles, he was a juvenile at the time. I mean, there wouldn't have been a whole lot done anyway. Hi, Lisa Jones and Robin. How are y'all today? So, I mean, but look at what has transpired in Don Wells' life from the time he did these things to Jeannie and Mary and their friends, and what all he did. Look at what has transpired from that time to Summer's disappearance. Hey, Donna. Don has in that entire time is filled with a criminal record here in Arkansas alone. Never mind everywhere else. It is filled with a criminal record longer than my legs. And his own son went on to become a pedo here in Arkansas. Here in Arkansas, in the Arkansas Department of Corrections, they are referred to as chomos. So you got to think, his own son became a pedo. So what does that tell you? That, not only was he out committing crime after crime after crime, God only knows what was going on in the homes with his other kids. Because, honey, you can't pray that behavior away, Jim Bob Duggar. I believe in the power of prayer, but that is a sickness. It is a illness. It is a sickness and it is an illness, and you can't pray it away. And it sounds to me like all it did was escalate. Give me 1 second. And it sounds to me like all he did was escalate. And, one of the other things that I was listening to Benny say was how was about Dawn and the crack and the cocaine and the hookers. And he was just taunting Candace about that. And not using protection and stuff. I mean, sounds to me like the guy is a sexual deviant. And I said this same thing about Josh Duggar, that not only was he just not only was he a pedo, I felt that he's just a sexual deviant. Like, he don't care who he does it with. And I don't know if I know this is totally off subject, but I don't know if any of y'all watched the show Little Women LA. But if you watched that show and you know who Brianna is, that dude she ended up marrying, Matt, that they all tried to tell her was a bad dude and all tried to talk her out of marrying, that guy was a major sexual deviant. So you can kind of compare the things that he did, if you're familiar with the whole storyline of that show and what went on, to Dawn and to Josh Duggar. And they're both just sick. They're sick. And I wish I wish Josh Duggar was going to be going to um to state prison here in Arkansas instead of federal prison. Hey, Fruit Loop. But yeah, so we don't know what Summer and the boys possibly endured. We don't. We've heard these, horrible things and accusations and showers and stuff like that. And we've all heard the way that Don talks about Summer, and he, hey, Lisa Jones, and he and Tammy, he, I knew from the beginning that I mean, my girls' dads love them, but they don't love them that much. They don't love them like that. And Don is a complete creeper. Um, Another thing that is really bothering me right now, and I'm a little late to the party on this. I have never paid any attention to Tim Mullins. Um, Early on, I saw other creators um, talk about him, and they just, they didn't trust him. He was a little weird and whatnot. And I have every reason to believe that Tim Mullins is involved in dark web stuff. I did my own research into it, and if I were a cop, the suspicions alone, I would be beating down a judge's door to get a warrant for his computer. Um, I have every reason to believe that he is involved in some type of dark web pornography, a place I don't even want to go. When I was in college, in criminal justice college, I actually took a class. Whoa, took a class um, child porn in the internet. And, we learned about the laws and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we weren't like going to, we weren't, thank God we were not having to actually look at anything like that because I was freaked out. I was totally freaked out um, about taking that class. And, I mean, I'm even afraid to put the words child, PORNE, hi, Sleuth Mom, into a Google search. And, the feds come barreling, woo, But, yeah, he needs to be reported. But I will say that even I just don't know about TBI. I just don't. You know, they have said nasty things about YouTube creators and whatnot. And, not all of us are like that. Not all of us have a channel to drag other creators and just talk nonsense and have a drama channel. We're very serious about this stuff. And but every time they come on the news, they want to make a jab at us. We don't have any new information. Hey, Dutchie, we don't have any new information, but you YouTube creators, if you want to help us, come put in an application at the police department. Well, I don't want to work with your jackass. I did take the police exam and passed it. I just couldn't pass the agility test because I can't run. And now I'm on full disability, so, you know. But it doesn't stop me from being a good investigator and a thorough investigator. Who probably listening to wrestling? Who's trying to raise money for their toddler? I didn't see. What the comments keep coming on the screen, coming on and off the screen. Wrestling toddlers to raise money for her channel. But yeah, I've sit here and I have thought about it, and I know other creators have called in stuff to TBI and to Hawkins County, and that's what they're getting pissed off about is, because they feel like people are calling in nonsense. But this thing about Tim Mullen is not nonsense. I don't trust the police there, Tammy. I come from a town where we have a dirty backroom good old boy system. And I can spot a good old boy cop and a good old boy sheriff coming like a big yellow school bus. And from the first time I ever saw Ronnie Lawson on the news, I saw straight through him. Straight. He reminded me of a couple of sheriffs that I've had dealings with. We went through literal hell back in 2010 getting rid of one. And the guy that I was running a campaign for, we got accused of running a dirty campaign and whatnot. And in the end, the sheriff embarrassed the whole town. He was having an affair with his secretary, who dragged me on a public forum for our, it's like a hometown forum. She dragged me, and come to find out, they were having an affair. She got pregnant, and she worked up at the little bar up the street from my house. And he went up there and was drunk, and they got into a big fight, and he tried to leave and drive home drunk, and the police got called, and he completely embarrassed himself, his wife, our whole hometown, the sheriff's department. Not that our sheriff's department needed any help being embarrassed, because our sheriff's department has a long history of being dirty. If any of you have ever heard of the case of the boys on the tracks, Kevin Ives and Don Henry, back in August of 1987, that happened when I was 17 years old. They were friends of mine, and one of my you got a baby wrestling ring, you got to put some peas in there, some of the green peas and carrots and stuff. That'd be cool, Sleuth Mom. Um, but yeah, that happened in my hometown. I lost a lot of friends. I lost an ex-boyfriend who was actually with him that night, and it changed my entire life. And it's what got me into true crime and opened me up to a whole world of the true filth that's out there in this world, and our government and how they can't be trusted, our own local police, lawyers, sheriffs, judges can't be trusted. So if any of y'all, want to look into the case, on my channel, there is a playlist. It's titled, I think it's titled The Boys on the Tracks, or it's titled Kevin Ives and Don Henry. That is the documentary that was done by Jeremiah Films many years ago, and it tells the whole story of what happened and how it was tied to Bill Clinton, to George Bush, the CIA, Barry Seals, Mena, Arkansas. No, they didn't fall asleep on them tracks. We had some good weed back then, don't get me wrong, Tammy, but not enough to knock you out to fall asleep on the railroad tracks. And a little known fact about that case is Kevin Ives' father worked for Union Pacific Trains. So Kevin knew better. That's something Kevin would have never done, ever. But yeah, y'all watch that documentary. You can also go to idfiles.com. That website is run by Gene Duffy and was being ran by Miss Linda Ives, Kevin's mother, but she passed away last year. She had a lot of health problems, and she made one more good run at trying to get to the bottom of everything and get the answers, but that case is never going to, no one's ever gonna pay for Kevin and Don. It's a sad truth, but it's something I'll never forget. I've wanted to I've wanted to do like a series of me talking about it and telling the whole story and telling my connection to everyone involved in the case and whatnot. Um, but I've never actually talked about it with strangers. It's always been people in, my hometown that I've discussed it with. And the only time that I ever discussed it with a stranger was I had this woman that I met at a campground, and she was from like Pennsylvania, I think. And the subject of politics came up. And I had mentioned, and this was, the race between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I told her that I had voted for Donald Trump. And she thought she was going to come at me with her landlord's home. She thought she was going to come at me with her, um, feminist crap and whatnot. And I lost it on this lady. I did. Um, I told, and I'm standing there. I'm standing there in my camping area, and tears are just streaming from my eyes. And as I tell her this story about my friends and how I would never in my life ever vote another Clinton into any office. I wouldn't vote for them for county trash picker upper. I would not vote a Clinton back into office for anything. And Hillary, she's worse than Bill. So, I have my reasons and my rights for hating the Clintons. And it has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with their policies. It has nothing to do with them being Democrats or anything of the sorts. It's what they did here in Arkansas to so many people and hurt so many people and turned a blind eye and whatnot. Ruby did not kill herself. What? No, I'm alive. I think I am. um, yeah, I have every reason in the world to hate them. So it don't matter who would have been running against her. I would have voted for them. Yeah, I know. He I was telling y'all earlier that I've always lived under a flight path. Well, back when Bill Clinton was doing his book tour and he was flying in and out of the Bush compound, going down there hanging out with his brother from another mother. Yep, it's Hillary. Uh, Back when Bill was doing his book tour and he was flying in and out of the Bush compound down there, hanging out with his brother from another mother, that bastard used to fly over my damn house. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Yes, he used to fly over my house in that black helicopter, and it was so loud that it felt like it was ripping the roof off my house. And sometimes I would be laying out on my back patio, and I'd be laying out there going, "Fuck you, Bill Clinton, fuck you," and all this. Um, and then he had that heart attack. and he even came on the news and said that he wouldn't be doing any more flying for a while. And thankfully it got quiet. No more loud helicopter over my house ripping the roof off my house. It was horrible. Actually, tell y'all another funny story. Guy that lived up the street from me is the guy who ended up marrying Jennifer Flowers. Jennifer Flowers, the woman that he had the affair with. Yeah, lived up the street from me. And they ended up moving to New Orleans, and he took his shady business down there, and they bought a nightclub, and I don't know. Maybe that way we can say if you talk. Exactly. Yeah, it's called Arkancide. I did not commit Arkancide, and I don't own a gun. So if they say I shot myself, that's definitely a lie. But I mean, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I mean, yeah, there are some things that I still can't, that I know that I still can't talk about because there are still players in place that, could make my life miserable, and they have. Um, but yeah, it's a really messed up ordeal. And if you didn't live it, you would never believe it. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, nor did I inhale. His brother was a fucking cokehead, okay? Y'all gotta hear Charlene Wilson talk about it. Yeah, yeah, she can tell you all about Bill Clinton's nose candy problem. Another funny story. My oldest daughter and she was about 5 years old, and we were at the mall, and we were waiting to see Disney's Pocahontas. And there was a whole line of women and children and stuff. I mean, the whole lower deck and food court, it was just packed full of people. And I'm standing there talking to this woman and a couple other ladies, and one of the ladies said the escalator was like right there, kind of in front of us, where it came down into the food court where the movie theater was at as well. And she said, "Oh my God, that looks like Chelsea Clinton." And I turned around and I looked, and I said, "Y'all, that is Chelsea Clinton." I said, "There's not a kid on the face of this earth that damn ugly but her." Yeah, I said it. This was the height of 1995, the height of grunge, and she had that curly hair, that naturally curly hair, and it was just excuse she had that naturally curly hair, and it was just greased down to her head. And she had on grungy clothes, and then she had these old dirty, grungy high top Converse sneakers like Kurt Cobain wore. And oh yeah, I know all about Tyson meats too. I have a friend that's done a very deep dive into that. Um, She's a former Arkansan. She lives in Texas now, but yeah, she's a very big deep dive in, ow, into into Tyson Foods and their involvement and the possible, them trafficking cocaine and all that. Um, but yeah, thank God for plastic surgery, you know, because that oh, it was hideous. I hate to say that about somebody else's child, but it's true. And she's Webb Hubbell's kid too, because she looks just like Webb Hubbell. Y'all look at a picture of Chelsea when she was younger, and y'all look at a picture of Webb Hubbell, who was Hillary Clinton's partner in Rose Law Firm, and tell me that's not Webb Hubbell's kid. She looks just like him. But anyway, yeah, that's another one of my funny Clinton stories. And then when Paula Jones was in Little Rock doing her sexual misconduct case with him, um, she was at the bar, drunk, talking to every dude in there. Had on a pair of black tight leather pants. It was crazy. I'm standing there, standing there talking to Norman. We were at a club. It's called BJ Star Studded Honky Tonk. It's called Electric Cowboy now. It's in Little Rock. And I'm standing there talking to Norman, and I look over, and I keep seeing this girl that's like walking, going around talking to each little group of people standing around. And I look, and I'm like, oh my God, is that who I think it is? And Norman said, yep, that's her. Yeah, she is drunk off her ass in a pair of tight leather pants. But now, do I believe he did something to her? Absolutely. Why did Arkansas vote him? Because of people like, I love you, Mama Ruby. I do. I love you more than anything in this world. But because of people like my Mama Ruby. She was his biggest fan when he was governor. My mama, she worked for, she was part of the Saline County Women's Democratic Party. And, oh yeah, she thought Bill Clinton hung the moon. And when, after all this started coming out regarding Kevin and Don and everything, and I made the mistake of telling my mama, I made the mistake of telling my mama Ruby that I didn't like Bill Clinton. Oh my Lord. I got a lecture like you have never heard in your life. And my mama Ruby was one of them kinds of ladies that you didn't argue with, because she would argue with a stop sign. And yeah, she but he had a lot of people fooled. You know how I was talking about Candace, how I was talking about Candace and how she plays that dumb hillbilly act. Well, Bill Clinton has that good old boy, salt of the earth, charming, um, you know, Southern boy personality. And he's very cunning, and he's very manipulative, and he, he could sell life insurance to a dead guy. That's just how Bill Clinton was. And, he kind of he plays off that, he plays off a little bit of that dumb hillbilly thing too. That, just Southern boy stuff. And, like when all this was, when he was confronted with all this stuff regarding Fami Malek, the state medical examiner, and all of the problems that were coming up, um, he he was confronted with all this, and somebody would say something, he'd be like, "Oh, well, that's a state issue. That's for the state." And or they'd say something to him, and, "Oh, well, that's a federal issue. That's handled with federally." It was always blaming it on the other, or, putting the blame somewhere else. Well, that's this person's job to take care of. Well, that's that person's job to take care of. And, and so he just, skated out from underneath it all and played dumb. And what Fami Malek had a hold over Bill Clinton about was that Bill Clinton's mother was a nurse and she killed somebody. And he basically pretty much got her off of a um, murder charge. Oh, I understand, Donna. I don't have an issue with people not being Trump supporters or anything like that. You know, I wasn't crazy about it either, but there is absolutely no way in the world I would ever have voted for Hillary Clinton. Maybe if somebody else had won the Democratic nominee, then it's a possibility, because I've always been independent. I've always voted split ticket. I've never belonged to any particular party. I have campaigned for Democrats. I have campaigned for Republicans. I have campaigned for Green Party people. So I don't. It's the person that I try to study. Y'all, sorry. It's that I try to study. So but absolutely no way would I have um ever voted for Hillary Clinton. And then you know I felt the need to have to vote for him again, because there was absolutely no way I was going to vote for Joe Biden, simply because I could see the man's dementia a mile away. And if if people can't see that, then I don't I can't I'm not going to trust someone as the leader of my country that you know is having dementia problems, because dementia runs in my family. And I've seen it with my mother, I've seen it with my father, I've seen it with my grandmother. And I just didn't see a way that so I voted for him again. But I normally, and a lot of some of my vote has to do with policies and politics, and some of it don't. It's hello. That's how people are when they drive by, they out on the lake and stuff, everybody waves at everybody. But oh, oh God, my butt's starting to hurt. I'm sitting on the ground. I thought it was hilarious when Trump brought Jennifer Flowers. Oh yeah, yeah, that was pretty funny. But he's I mean, Trump's had his transgressions too. He, you know, come on, if you was married to Hillary Clinton, wouldn't you be having an affair too? I mean, he, ugh, don't even want to think about it. Oh, but I don't know where this is all going to go with summer. Um, I pray that we get some kind of answer soon. We're coming up on a year, here in a few months, and no answers, no sighting, no. If I was married to, I'd be dead. Uh, I actually went to school with a boy who was, yeah, I normally don't, I try not to bring up religion and politics too much either because I don't want to, um, and there is no religion and politics in crime. So um, all religions and all politics commit crime. So I I normally don't really want to. I've lost too many friends over it. You know, um, and it's not worth it. It's like, hey, I'm more than my vote. You know, um, there's more to me than that. And if that's why you're friends with me because of my politics or why you're, that's silly. Or you don't want to be my friend because I support this cause or that cause or this, that's just silly. But I have lost a lot of friends over politics, especially people in the true crime world. Actually, that particular race between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, a woman that I had worked with for a long time on advocacy stuff for um, the Boys on the Track, for the West Memphis Three, for the blood cow scandal that happened in the Arkansas Department of Corrections. Um, she and I had worked together, and I was very surprised that she was supporting Hillary Clinton because if if you knew the whole story with this woman, um, I would have never in my life believed she would vote a Clinton for Clinton either. And she, oh my God, she went off on me and she said, "You voted for him. You ruined this country, and I have nothing else to say to you. We have nothing more in common." And I'm like, what about all the advocacy work we did together? That had nothing to do with politics. And some of this involved shit that Bill Clinton did when he was here with governor. And it didn't make sense to me, but y'all, that hurt me. That hurt me bad. Hey, Maddie. Hey. That really, really hurt me. And, you know, I don't want to lose any more friends over that kind of stuff. So, but I do, you know, hope things that, things with Summer, you know, are fixing something's fixing to happen. I hope. Um, I've been so frustrated with the investigation and how, you know, ever so many months, Hawkins County and them will come out and say, well, we ain't got no new information, but except that you YouTubers are driving us nuts. You know, um, I've never seen a case, I've never seen a situation where someone who has so many stories, so many ever changing stories, no one can get their story straight, and they just keep changing and changing and changing and changing, that they hadn't already been drug in a back room somewhere and said, okay, look, um, you're lying. Your story don't jive. It's time you start quit talking bullshit and start talking the truth, especially in a good old boy system. And being the good old boy that I know damn well Ronnie Lawson and this Pruitt guy, whatever his name is, are. I can see they are good old boys. Um, turn up causing in the oh yeah, yeah, that was, they had such an opportunity to really, you know, to do something good, and let me just say they went about all of that all wrong. Oh, definitely. I agree. Um, yeah, their mouthpiece has made quite the spectacle of this case, and I mean, I don't really approve of what he's doing now. You know, now that he's flipped, I don't. He just got 2,000 people in the chat room. You know, one day they're screaming, "We love you, Candace. We support you. We believe you. Can we send you some money?" And then now it's, "We all hate you. Tell the truth. You're a piece of shit." And, you know, and I don't, you know, taunting her like that in basically in public, in virtual public, for the whole world to see. The whole world to see. Not just the United States, not just Tennessee, not just the whole world. Africa, Australia, the UK, England, China. I mean, everywhere people are watching this. And you know, yeah, does she need to tell the truth? Yes, she does. I've never believed her story. I've never, you know, it just never made sense to start with. But, you know, one of the things that, and I know this is going to sound really stupid when I say this, but one of the things that bothers me that we have issues with, and we saw it in the Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito case. I'm having to tell kids to be quiet. Um, where was I? I see. I get distracted and lose my train of thought. Um, where was I, y'all? What was I saying? But something terrible happened to that little girl. Let me just say this. Something very terrible happened to that little girl. And oh yeah, oh okay, yeah, back yeah. I was talking about. We saw this in the Gabby Petito case. Um, the police hiding behind the law. I know that sounds completely moronic to say. The police hiding behind the law. What I mean by that is, well, we don't have probable cause to question it. We don't have probable cause to search this. We don't have probable cause. We can't just go do this, 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 and this, and yada yada. Yes, you can. Bullshit. Yes, you can. I have had police officers make stuff up. This one police officer used to harass me and my ex-husband when we were teenagers. Um, he pulled me over one night for said that a report had been called in with a description like my car that was busting Coke machines out on Sevier Street. And I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I am a young teenage girl. Why would I be busting Coke machines out? And there is no way you saw me coming from where you say you did, because there's a hill in between. And when I turned down by Dub Sharps, there's no way you saw me. So your bullshit line for pulling me over is a crock. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, the police, they want to hide behind the law because they just don't want to do their job. They had that surveillance set up across the street from Brian Laundrie's house and didn't even watch the damn cameras. Thought that when Roberta drove that car back home that she was Brian. That's how much they were paying attention. That's how much they were watching. Hey Heather Lynn, how are you? I hadn't seen you in a while. It's been a while. So, I just I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear um oh well, we can't question them because of this, or we can't do anything because of that, and blah blah blah. Yeah, you can. And I've just never seen a situation where we have a whole crew of people on that hill that can't get their story straight, especially the parents. Maybe you need to be paying attention to what's going on YouTube if you're not. Hawkins County, TBI. Maybe you need to sit and watch it for yourself. You know, I was thinking about um, reaching out to all of the you may have just oh okay Heather, I see. Um, but I was thinking about reaching out to all these different creators that have all these phone calls with them, that have all these live panels with them, and stuff, and however you want to do it, email it, put it off on a disc, send it in or whatever, and let the TBI and Hawkins County hear it for themselves, and then ask, why have you not done anything yet? Why have you not, pushed them farther and questioned them farther? Hell, you've got Don right where you need him, in your jail, and he's fixing to go to Utah. I am so glad that there is not a statute of limitations on that. And whether that really goes through or not, at least it brings the awareness for summer, you know. At least it brings a little bit of justice for her, that and them boys that maybe they won't end up back in that horrible situation again, because they the boys don't ever, in my opinion, need to go back. And I don't yeah, there's a time limit, a lot of places. Corey Feldman, actor Corey Feldman, when he brought up all the stuff that happened to him and happened to Corey Haim and all, he did a lot to get the law changed in California, um, to extend the time period on, especially children coming forward and making the accusations, because these things happened when Corey and Corey were younger, in their career, and extending the time limit and stuff like that. So yeah, I know it. I mean, I believe Corey. I've always believed Corey. Um, and it just breaks my heart about Corey Haim, and that it just destroyed his entire life, that he let that stuff destroy his entire life and his career and everything. And hi, Jesse. um yeah, it's just, that stuff destroys a child's life. There's many people, in the YouTube world who have talked openly about their child abuse and their child essay and things like that. And um, there's a lot of those warriors, you know, that are here, and we're here, rooting for justice for Summer Wells, and for Harmony Montgomery, and Serenity McKinney, and Evelyn Boswell, and all these children that these people are just throwing away. It's awful. And then all this stuff with CPS. I don't know if any of y'all ever, if y'all followed the Jordan Beliveau case, um, back in 2018. Sharice Stinson, this was in Largo, Florida. Um, Jordan Beliveau was pulled from the Brady Bunch, Mike and Carol family. They were Jordan's foster parents, and they were just the most wonderful people, and because of all this the CPS being so big on reunification and everything, um, they pulled that child out of a perfectly wonderful, amazing home away from two amazing, wonderful people and gave him back to his mother. And she ended up killing him. And she tried to lie about it, of course, and get out of it. And um, I've not been able to get past that case. I have a Paw Patrol pillow on my bed for that little boy. That little boy, he captured me in a way that no one has done since Morgan Nick. And those of us here in Arkansas, that's a little girl that we are never going to give up on. You know, it's been 25 years since Morgan was kidnapped, and we'll never, ever, ever give up on finding that little girl. Um, if any of y'all are in Tennessee, there is also a video here on my channel um, about Morgan Nick. And there is a man who is a person of interest, who's become a person of interest in the case. And he's dead now. He he died in prison. He tried kidnapping a little 11-year-old girl about a month and a half or so after Morgan was kidnapped. And anyway, he ended up dying in prison, but the FBI in Arkansas believed that he had ties to people in Tennessee. So I've been wanting people from Tennessee to start asking around to their parents, their grandparents, their aunts and uncles, older people in their, like, 60s or 70s or whatever in that area, to see if anyone knew this man. We've never found hide nor hair of Morgan Nick. No trace whatsoever. And if this guy did, his name is Billy Jack Links. And we have no idea what he might have done with her or anything. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, there's a video here on my channel called The Kidnapping of Morgan Nick, and watch it and share it around. And and if any of you live in Tennessee, please ask around. And if you found somebody like, hey, I did know that man, know that man, call the FBI here in Arkansas and let them know. But yeah, I myself am worn out from the Summer Wells case and from the drama, and from just, we've all gone over and over and over and over the statements that everyone has made that's been directly involved in this case. And we still can't come up with anything. We still can't come up with anything concrete that could lead to finding Summer. We have our suspicions about this. We have our suspicions about that. We know that they've lied about this and they've lied about that and this and that and the other. But at the end of the day, none of us can do anything. We can't go arrest them. We can't go arrest Candace. I can't. Like, if she were standing in front of me now, I couldn't slam her up against a tree and say, look, bitch, you need to tell the truth. You're going to tell me what happened to Summer. No, I'd be arrested for assault. it's at the end of the day, it's TBI, and it's Hawkins County that's going to be the ones that can do something, that can take them in and legally question them and Mirandize them, and and do anything. Um, and if I don't know, I don't know anything about the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. I don't know what if they have what like resources, or what like people that that are specifically trained and that can look into all this dark web stuff. Um, I have an old boyfriend who is a criminal investigator in Louisiana, and I remember at our reunion we were trying to fix the sound on, because I had done our class video, but we couldn't get the music to play. We couldn't get the sound to come through, and I tried to get him to come over there and see if he could fix it, and he's like, "I can strip a hard drive, but don't ask me how to fix this and that and the other," you know. So yeah, that so I don't know who, if there is any kind of specific agency or whatever that looks into all this dark web stuff, that looks into all this dark web type stuff. Um, Took almost 3 months for people to start putting summer wells up on flyers. Yeah, I mean, I knew about Summer when it first happened, when it was first brought out, but um, I also have a podcast over on Spotify, and I cover a lot of trials and stuff, and that was back during, it was just back to back to back to back trials. We had Gabby, we had Kyle Rittenhouse, and and uh, um, my mind just went blank. Um, Gabby, and the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and the Ahmaud Arbery case. I followed that in full all the way up to the federal charges, and there was just so many just back to back to back cases that it took me a few months to slow down from all that, um, to get into talking about Summer and everything. Um, yeah, I don't know um, I don't know what made Don and them decide to turn to YouTube or turn to social media or whatever. I have always wondered if, there's a bug on me. I have always wondered if they were getting ideas from the Gabby Petito case. If they saw how, the internet helped find her, and all that kind of stuff, and how social media, brought so much awareness to her. Um, I've often wondered if that was their motive, and what they thought. They thought they were going to get the same attention that the Petito Schmidts have and whatnot, and it didn't happen like that. It turned into a full blown nightmare. So, I don't know, but I don't feel like they really have anybody to blame but themselves, for making themselves look guilty. I mean, I don't think you can't blame any of us or any of the um, we can get the religion chat started soon. As long as there ain't anybody in here from ISIS, I'm okay with it. As long as your religion don't include wanting to kill me, I'm okay with it. But yeah, they only have themselves to blame for making their own selves look guilty and look like complete morons. That first time that what was it? Oh, butt is completely numb, y'all. Um, that first time I heard that phone call of Dawn cussing Molly, and I don't care if you like Molly or you don't like her. There was in no way anything appropriate about the parent of a missing child cussing her the way he did and saying all the horrible things that he was saying about her and Betty and what. Hey, Arctic Fox, how are you? It's good to see you. We've been talking about Arkansas a lot. I've been telling them my Bill Clinton stories. But yeah, I didn't yeah, like Molly or not, I didn't approve of Don and Candace and the way they were cussing her and stuff, the way, and Betty and whatnot, the way they did. That was just horrible. The way they've conducted themselves is is ungodly, and they have no one but themselves to blame for making themselves look guilty. But you know what? I definitely wish that they would push both Dawn and Candace for more information, just push them more and say, look, your story's not jiving and you're on YouTube and you're saying this and you're saying that, and, confront them with this. Anybody else would, any other law enforcement agency would. Um, TBI, whoever agency, whatever agency needs to look into Tim Mullins and his possible connection to the dark web and whatnot. The suspicions alone with him are enough to look into. Oh, you have a good day too, Sleuth Mom. Probably see you later. I'm sure you'll probably be live later. So, uh, but yeah, somebody's got to look into Tim Mullins and something. Um, because after Hunter is dropped off at his house, I don't believe anything past that. The only thing I believe um, is I know that Krama Mama and Gabble Geeks, they were able to, the picture of, in the video of Summer and the milk jugs and stuff, they were able to pinpoint that, where that picture in that video was took on the route home from from Allie's house to Candace and them's house. They were able to pinpoint right about where that photo and video was taken. But everything that happened past that and Hunter being dropped off at home, I don't believe any of it. Um, I know that we are not privy to what the boys have said happened or didn't happen or whatever. Um, but at this point, they're the only ones I would even think about believing. And if they say Summer got out of that truck alive, then I believe it. If they say she really did go downstairs and was playing in the basement, whatever, then I'll believe it. Um, but I'm not taking anything Candace says, Dawn says, Granda says, any word, any of their words for any of it anymore. Everything is sketchy after Hunter's dropped off. That's just my opinion. Oh yeah, you're doing that live with Savage tonight. Um, and I hope PJ is going to be able to do some live streaming from from Massachusetts, Manchester for the um Harmony Montgomery case with uh, with Adam. Adam's supposed to go to court this week, so I'm looking forward to her being able to be, boots on the ground there in Manchester and giving us some live stuff from there since we can't all be there. I wish we could. I wish we had just a whole bunch of school buses that we could just all load up and just all travel around and go to all these different places, and instead of having to be here in virtual world, be there in the flesh and be there on the ground, because that's the way that I'm used to doing things. um Anytime that I've done things for here in Arkansas, I've gone to that specific place and gone to there's met people like Donna. Oh yeah. Um but I just feel like it makes more of a difference, is if you can go there to that and let people see you in the flesh and not see you virtually, because I mean, I love this virtual world that we can all see each other and we can all talk to each other and become friends from all over the world. Um, but I sure would like to meet many of you in person. I would like to be standing at the courthouse with PJ, you know, when Adam is in court. I would have liked to have been in Tennessee with Molly and them. Um, they just went about doing things the wrong way. Um, and I just felt like what they did was just more of a spectacle than trying to that than anything that made any kind of difference in Summer's case. Dudley didn't know where Summer was, so um, if the cop says the picture was, oh, but there's nothing like going to a particular place, and whether you're protesting, whether you're there for support, whether you're there to speak out against, um, gonna be a CPS case totally. Yeah, yeah. This I wondered that too after what Scott H was saying this morning. About the whole breaking down the whole lawyer situation and all that. That if this gonna end up being a CPS case as opposed to a, you know, a criminal case, you know, because somebody don't find something soon, or somebody don't start talking soon or doing something, then you know this is going to go cold. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it is cold. You know, we're all doing everything we can out here to keep her name alive and keep her story out there, and keep the pressure up, but that's all we really can do. It's up to them to make the moves and do something. And you know, I'm not going to be here in 25 years. So, you know, um, and I've said this before in other videos, you don't want to still be here 25 years from now trying to figure out where Summer Wells is and what happened to Summer Wells and Harmony Montgomery and Oakley Carlson, and still even trying to find the bodies of um, the boys, the Cal City boys, you know, and you don't want to be here 25 years from now still reporting and still wondering. We still don't know who kidnapped Morgan Nick. We still don't know who killed John Benet Ramsey. We don't, you know, and it's depressing, you know. I've lived, it's been 32 years now since Kevin and Don died. And we, you know, we have no justice, and I know deep down that we never will. I'm not going to stop talking about it, though. I'm not going to stop talking about them. I'm not going to stop talking about their case and making people aware of it and aware of who the players were that were involved in all of it. Shoot, yeah, me too. And you know, I don't. I said this in another video, but if y'all didn't already know this, they're actually closing the missing persons case on Madeline McCann. They are officially closing her missing persons case, which is sad. You know, we still don't know, you know, what happened to her. There's so many out there that we don't know what happened to them and have never been found. God, it took how many years? It's been 20 something, 30 years. I believe it happened in the early 90s. Michelle Garrett. Now, that is not spelled Garrett. Her name is spelled G E R. It's GERHUA. It's spelled funny, but if you look up like Michelle Garrett missing in California, you know, they just finally solved her case, but they still haven't found her remains. But they were able to finally find her killer, who had been in prison. So you just don't want to be here, you know, 25 years from now reporting on stuff like I've done, and it's sad and depressing. It really is. Missy Witt in Fort Smith. I've not Arctic Fox. I'm not aware of that case. I'll have to look it up. And I'm surprised because most all cases here in Arkansas, I'm pretty aware of. Clashendra Hall is another one that her bless her heart, her mother's never given up um, here in Arkansas, and Mercedes Tolliver, who went missing in Prescott, Arkansas, is is another one. There's so many. Yeah, I'm not going to be alive in 25 years either, and you know, true crime was not a subject I chose. It chose me. And, like I said, it started with the boys on the tracks and finding out that, things weren't what they all seemed to be. And it escalated from there. And I followed all the high profile cases throughout the 90s um, and 2000s. And I've just done a lot of um, self education in studying about serial killers and you know not really profiling, but what makes people tick, what makes people do the things that they've done. And when you start looking into the history of people like Charlie Manson and Richard Ramirez and those people, they oh, okay, I will. I'm going to read. I'm going to read about Missy. Um, you start looking into those people's past, and and you look at the whole Manson family ordeal and how he, manipulated and brainwashed all those people. And you look into stories like Jim Jones and Jonestown and all that kind of crazy stuff. And you see what, because even though I don't condone true crime, I don't condone crime, but every aspect of crime is fascinating, from the mind of the person that committed the crime to the forensics to the um, DNA and profiling. Just all that. It's all extremely fascinating to me. Um, it's just the end result. My foot's itching. It's just the end result that I don't like, but it's all extremely fascinating, in a warped sense of way, I guess. I don't know. You got to have the right mindset for it. Because I start talking to people that don't follow true crime, and they're just looking at me like, hmm. Oh, tell y'all true story. Jeffrey Dahmer. I have a friend who was a federal marshal, and he was working in Milwaukee at the time that all that happened with Jeffrey Dahmer. and he was one of the officers that went into Jeffrey Dahmer's house and, you know, confiscated all that evidence and whatnot, which I won't even get into, but yeah. Pretty wild. He told me about that. Well, y'all, I have been on here close to 2 hours now, and I'm just really glad that all of you who've came in and chatted with me and listened to me and ramble on. um, and I'm gonna try to start doing more lives. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with StreamYard. There's been a couple of times that I've tried to do lives through StreamYard, and it just freezes, and I don't know why. It goes live, but it's just the screen is just froze, and nothing is happening. So I'm just gonna kind of start doing things this way. It's not as professional, but I'm not a professional person. As you can see, I look like I've spent a wild weekend on Ben Hill Road with the Wells. But anyway, I guess I'm gonna go for now. My butt is killing me because I oh yeah, that's probably true. Um, my butt is killing me because I've been sitting on the ground. I had to sit under this tree because I can't sit in the easy chair right now because where the sun is right now is right on top of my easy chair, and um, I would not even be able to see the phone. I would not even be able to see the comments or anything. I'd be, doing this number. So, but yeah, my butt's completely asleep. But I do appreciate all of you coming in and listening to me gab and talking back and forth. And don't take anything I say to heart as far as politics go. Please don't judge me for any of that, because that's not who I am. And you know there'll be new candidates someday, and we'll forget all about the Clintons and the Trumps and the Bidens and all that. And you know we've just been driven so far apart. The media has just driven that line down between us so hard that I think a lot of us are mad about shit that ain't even really true, to be honest with you. um from both sides. But yeah, please don't take any of my political votes or anything like that to heart, because that's not who I am. I've always been an independent person, and I've always tried to study that particular. Now, I'm not going to say I haven't been blinded myself and brainwashed myself. I was brainwashed into believing that um, some of these senators and congressmen here from Arkansas were good guys, and they aren't at all. And they've been more of a pain in the ass to me here from the Arkansas level than what's going on up in the upper level. You know, it's the shit that they're doing here that's affecting me more than what's going on in the White House. So, anyway, but thank you all for listening. I really enjoyed having you all, and please like, subscribe, and share, and tell your friends. And I will be seeing you all again soon. And as I always end every podcast episode that I do, everyone, please be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Good night, and good evening, and good morning, and good afternoon, everyone. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.